Rockstar Gang, what up, what up? Appreciate everyone joining the live stream. Make sure you do me a favor. Do as always. Make sure you smash that like button on your way in and on your way out. Man, we got a lot to talk about. Welcome to basically a full recap of day 2 of the Carolina Panthers Training Camp. We'll be breaking down everything you need to know. All right. I'll be breaking down everything you need to know. Today's action. A lot of takeaways from today, notable standouts, and so on and so forth. Bryce had an up and down performance today. There's still a heated battle for center. Jaycee Horn locked down on T-Mac. And then, of course, I think the talk of the training camp already in the past 2 days is probably Princely Umanmielen, the rookie edge rusher. And of course, you know, a lot of talk about Hunter Renfrow as well. So again, lots to talk about. Again, I appreciate everybody. I'm going to open up the stream tonight as well for some call-ins as we go throughout tonight's live stream. If guys want to, you know, hop in and call in, have questions, or, you know, you just want to chat, or you have something on your mind, feel free. You don't have to pay anything. It is for free. The link is easy. So I'm going to go ahead and put it in the chat if you guys want to hop in. Okay. Other than that, let's go ahead and get this thing going. Let's see here. Hope everybody's having a good Thursday. Tomorrow is Friday. So thank God for that, right? Thank God for that. Thank God it's TGIF, right? Thank God it's Friday tomorrow. All right, so let's dive into this real quick. Panthers back at day 2. So, I mean, there's just so much to talk about and so much to bring in. So let's first off talk about the whole Tommy Tremble situation, okay? That's what I really want to dive into, the Tommy Tremble situation, because that's kind of been the main thing. One of the main things that people brought up. Mike K came out with this. So Tommy Tremble's ahead of schedule based off of what we're seeing here. So Tommy Tremble, who had back surgery, we all know back in May, was already back doing light on-field work before and after practice, including catching some passes. There is a clip out there somewhere. I would just have to go back and find it. But he was out there catching passes on the jug machine. All right. And he was out there with Chuba Hubbard doing that as well. The initial timeline was 3 to 4 weeks. But if Thursday is any indicator, you know, Tremble is tracking ahead. He's not clear yet, but he's not sitting around either. So that is some good news coming in about the Tommy Tremble situation. Next things up. There was a lot of kick returns getting worked out today, according to Joe Persons of The Athletic here. Okay, there was a lot of kick returns, right? So as you can see, everyone from Jimmy Horn, Raheem Blackshear, Rico Dowdle, and Trevor Etienne were all out there getting tryouts in that kickoff return. You know, you got the whole NFL under the new kickoff rules, which call for a setup that makes special teams more strategic and a little bit less chaotic. So that meant to open up auditions, and that's why the Panthers threw a large group of returners out there, including these guys. Some of these guys that weren't mentioned on here were David Moore was in that. Jacoby George, TJ Luther, and Amani Bailey. So they're looking for vision. They're looking for guys who have that vision, who have that acceleration, that decision making with the new format of the kickoff rule. So you don't just need one guy. You need multiple and capable returners who understand timing angles. And I expect us to keep testing these combos until someone kind of separates themselves from the others. T-Cole, what's good, man? Josiah, what's good? Underground West, what's good? Appreciate y'all coming through. D Perkins, what's up? Marcos Cash is always coming through. Shout out to you guys already in the chat. Eric Blair as well. Sorry, I skipped over Mr. Eric. My bad. What's good, Earl Locklear? Appreciate you coming through, my guy. Appreciate you coming through. Let me take that banner off. So, let's move on to the next thing that I want to discuss, because it's kind of just the takeaways that I took away from everything we've seen on Twitter, because there's so much information out there on Twitter now, right? So I wanted to talk about this real quick. Run defense, there's no pads. There were a few questions thrown at Canales about the run defense today, but when he answered them, I want to say let's pump the brakes. They're not even in pads yet. 2 players are MIA. Like you've got Derek Brown, obviously missed the second straight day for personal reasons. Bobby Brown is still sidelined with that hamstring, but he is, according to reports, he is moving right along nicely with the hamstring. So we should have him back soon. But those 2 guys are your biggest run anchors, and both of them are your starters, right? That are both out, right? I mean, we bolstered this interior this offseason with Turk Wharton, who's more of an athletic interior pass rusher, and then you got rookie Cam Johnson. Of course, you got returning bodies like Ashawn Robinson, you got LeBron Bray, you got Shy Turtle, I should say. You got Jaden Krumeti. So it's a versatile group, but we won't know what they really are until I think that the hitting starts on Monday, right? The hitting don't start till Monday. So, yeah. What's good, SC Panthers boy? 803. I appreciate you coming through. Shout out to you guys in the chat already. All right, let's move on. We're moving right along here. Let's watch a quick here. We got Lathan. Get some work here. Damn. It's like a safety group. Safety group getting some work in here. Out to Mike K for this video. Damn, they're jamming, dude. Sounds like they got a little house music going. Well, black eye pee. High shuttle. Side turtle, man. Side turtle. It's black eye pee, my bad. Not the best audio. All right, Lathan Ransom right here. Nice. All right. There's something else I wanted to go over. Let's see here. Let's see. I'm trying to find the one I want to talk about. Oh, here it is. This is what I wanted to talk about. Mike K comes in and says, Jaycee Horn with a great 11-on-11 rep against T-Mac on a deep route that Young essentially had to overthrow to avoid trouble from CB1. Shut him down from my angle. So Tre'von McMillan, the 8th overall pick, has been doing what he does best. Circus catches look routine to him. One-handers, acrobatic sideline grabs. That's all that he flashed. Everything that made him a college standout in Arizona. 2,700 yards, 18 touchdowns over 2 seasons, right? But the lesson came from veteran Jaycee Horn. The real lesson came from him. Pro bowler, alpha corner, probably Panthers' best defensive player, maybe to some, maybe not. Completely locked him down on a deep ball. As Mike K said, the throw had to be overthrown to avoid being picked off, according to Mike K. So McMillan didn't get enough separation, and Horn didn't give him enough room to obviously breathe. So again, that's a major reality, right? That's the reality for what Tre'von McMillan's going to be going through this training camp. And Dave Canales even came out and says JC is just in his own land, right? That teaches T-Mac positioning, leverage, how to adapt against top-tier NFL corners. It's the best kind of learning you can get. And that's according from Dave Canales. And, McMillan's upside, we all know, is massive, right? Because of the size, the hands. But it's not enough right now against someone like Horn. But these reps are so important for him now in his development. We don't need to read into this like T-Mac is like going to shit the bed or suck right now, right? But, the thing is Jaycee Horn is just as big, just as fast, and far more polished. So it's getting escorted off the ball. Exactly, Tico. Exactly. But that, again, you want to hear these. This is good stuff. For the most part, it's good stuff. But again, I'm not going to read, I'm taking training camp this year again with a grain of salt, right? I'm taking, you can't get overhyped based off what you see at training camp, right? We've seen it for the past 2 seasons, and we've gotten overhyped and underdelivered, right? So again, I'm all for being optimistic and stuff like that, but I'm not going to be overly optimistic when it comes to, just because of OTAs and just because Bryce Young throws a good ball or or Princely, which let's talk about Princely. All right. Like, that's the next thing I want to get into, because he has been an absolute menace, according to reports at, training camp, again, based off of, let me find what I wanted to get at here. Here it is. So Joe Person says Princely beats Ikem Ekwonu with an inside move. This time holds off making contact with the quarterback. Progress. I mean, Princely Umanmielen has caused a stir Tuesday. Now, when he caused a stir, Wednesday. After that strip sack on Young that looked a little too aggressive. No contact in a non-contact setting. Social media did its usual thing. We saw a bunch of people, instant outrage out of some people out of context clips, panicked about the quarterback safety again. But once the coaching staff watched the film, it was clear he wasn't being reckless. He was just trying to avoid the contact. Young was just stuck in a collapsing pocket, and it just looked worse than it was. Now, beyond that, Princely continues to show. He beat Ikem Ekwonu inside, like Joe Person says, again on Thursday. Is one of the few rookies who's consistently making plays without pads now. Again, we are not in pads. But, again, this is a sign, ladies and gentlemen, of the athleticism, the motor of both of which Carolina needs coming off the edge. All right. Lomax, what's good, man? Appreciate you coming through, brother. There was something I want to talk about the center position, but I want to find what I was looking for earlier about it. but I got to find it. Give me a second, guys. Again, I appreciate everyone joining the live stream. Do me a favor. Make sure you smash that like button, hit that subscribe button. I would greatly appreciate it. Again, we're going to be live every single day. Training camp is going on. And I'm trying to find what I wanted to talk about with the centers. If I can find the clips. I don't know if I have the clips of the centers. The whole Justin Fields thing was crazy today, getting carted off the field. Okay. I think I know where I need to go. My bad. I got to start making some PowerPoints for you guys. But it's everything is on X. You know what I mean? If you're not on X during training camp right now, I don't know how you're keeping up with training camp. Unless you're just reading a shit ton of articles to get from every beat writer. You know what I mean? But all right, so based off of David Newton, I know it's not everybody's favorite beat writer, but says there's a truly competition at center. K Mays has snapped to Bryce Young some today. Austin Corbett has snapped to Andy Dalton. So as of right now, maybe the Cade Mays has the upside here, ladies and gentlemen. Maybe Cade Mays has the upside because, again, this was one of the battles between Corbett and Mays I said to watch out for because I knew it was going to be a close call. Honestly, that's not ideal. Corbett was day one starter last year until the torn bicep ended his season after 5 games last year. We know that. Mays, he was waived midseason, landed on the Giants practice squad, then returned to start 8 games of the final 9 games, which is a pretty remarkable journey for him. But he got himself back in the mix. And honestly, you could make the case that he looked better than Austin Corbett last year and that he obviously could be the better center, right? But it's a good problem for us to have because we got 2 guys that we know we can rely on, who is the focal point of your offensive line. Your center is the guy, right? Continuity from last year's with Mays. Yeah, absolutely, Domo. T. Cole says Corbett started yesterday, I think, rotating. Yes. Corbett did seemed like he got the first team some majority of the first team reps. But Canales did confirm though, T. Cole, that they're alternating days with the first team to evaluate chemistry with Bryce. So the staff isn't sold really on either one yet, right? But again, just like Domo said, though, which I agree, that the positive spin here is the continuity. Like the Panthers returned, again, you returned all 5 starters on that offensive line. You got the key depth pieces like Mays and Brady Christensen. That doesn't happen very often in the NFL. Even Robert Hunt said it in his press conference yesterday. He's never been on a team that returned all their guys in the same position group, or he's been in the same organization where all the same offensive linemen came back, right? So it gives this staff a real shot to build something very cohesive, right? The clock, I think, though, the clock is ticking, though, to find a true leader in the middle. Obviously, at the end of the day, at the end of, at the end of the offseason, we will have our guy. Whether it's Cade Mays starting, Cade Mays, either it's Cade Mays starting or Austin Corbett. I think it should be Cade Mays personally because of Austin Corbett's injury history. And I think it would be good to have Corbett maybe rotate in there to have less reps on his body. You know what I mean? I just think that it makes more sense, in my opinion. Some people may disagree with that. I don't know. I'm not sure how a lot of people feel about that. But yeah. Also, ladies and gentlemen, we have once again, we are going through a kicking battle. We are going through a kicking battle once again. You got the rookie kicker Ryan Fitzgerald, went for 4 for 5 on the skinny post Thursday, matching Matthew Wright's performance from day one. His one miss might have snuck in on a normal set of uprights, so the margin was slim. With Martin still out, Dalton served as the holder again, and I expect this battle to play out through the entire preseason, and I wouldn't be shocked if a third kicker shows up later, because this, I think, from a kicker standpoint, this is far from over. So yeah, there's definitely a kicker showdown as of right now, still in this training camp. So. Vino, though, I don't disagree with you, man. I agree. I just said I feel like K May should be the center. I feel that K May should be the center as well. By the way, breaking news through the NFL. By the way, the Raiders have released defensive tackle Christian Wilkins. Christian Wilkins is 29, signed a 5-year, $110 million contract, $57.5 million guaranteed in 2024. He played just 5 games for the Raiders. Apparently, from sources are saying out there that the Raiders wanted him to wanted him to get surgery on his foot, but he said no. He said, "I'm not getting surgery on my foot." He said he's not getting surgery on his foot. He doesn't want someone to cut into his foot. Let's see. Let's see. I'm just really hoping our undrafted defensive players step up. I mean, here's the thing. I've said it before and I say it again. Like if we're talking about the linebacker room, you've got Bam Martin Scott, who, he could, it could be Bam Martin Scott or it could be Tua Nomura, who ends up being an absolute Jalen Coker like last year. I mean, we could end up having another Jalen Coker just on the defensive side. Maybe Bam Martin Scott. Maybe it is Tua Nomura. Right? Who knows? Trying to see if I can find. Trying to find the clips from today. I'm definitely talking about specifically 2. Which specific 2 are you talking about? Yeah, I was trying to find some. This is what I was trying to find right now. I'm trying to find what he said today. Maybe there's something I want to talk about Ikem Ekwonu because he wants to stay, but business is business. Now, according to this, some discussion about Ikem Ekwonu's contract, how did he get and how he'd get paid. He thinks he got top 10 OT money that what Zach Tom just got paid. According to Jared, he showed vast improvement in pass protection. There's no reason he can't continue. But Ikem Ekwonu came out today, though, and isn't sweating the contract situation. He came out and said that on his, in his press conference today. He asked about a potential extension, and the Charlotte native candidate professionally kind of came out and said, I'm not talking timeline. That's my agent's job. And he also came out and said that he's always wanted to be here and like this is his literal home. So we know the Panthers picked up his 5th-year option and keeping him under contract through 2026. So there's really no urgent deadline. And frankly, he hasn't quite played, in my opinion, like someone who's earned top tier left tackle money yet. But again, he is young. He is durable and has flashed high end potential. If he puts it together in a solid 2025 season, the conversation will heat up quickly for sure. So we'll see if Icky actually, it's going to come down to Icky this year. I think even though they put him on his 5th-year option, right? I think it's going to be interesting how he does this year. But I don't think he's close to Zach Tom, in my opinion. In my humble opinion, I don't even think he's close to Zach Tom. Right? Now, I do want to talk about our beloved quarterback, Bryce Young. Bryce picked over the middle by his new teammate, Pat Jones, was looking for T-Mac. Okay? Today, for Bryce Young, I'll be honest with you. It's still a mixed bag as of right now. Bryce Young remains an enigma. One hand, he's making some elite level throws that remind you why we got him at number 1 overall pick. But case in point, right? And there is a clip out there if I can find it. So case in point today, though, he did have this touchdown pass. Well, here's a nice throw out to Coker. Here's a nice throw out to T-Mac. Okay. And then where's the throw to team David Moore? Okay. Nice throw to David Moore. So again, and he dropped a gorgeous touchdown pass here to David Moore in a tight coverage. That's the kind of confidence and precision Carolina needs to see, right? But the inconsistency is very real. Like I just showed you, later in practice, he did try to force a ball to Tre'von McMillan. It ended up in the hands of Pat Jones, right? Who is a defensive end, defensive lineman. I mean, getting picked off by a guy like that is kind of a rookie camp mistake, if you want to be honest. Like, you would expect that from like an undrafted free agent, but not your franchise quarterback in year 3, okay? Now, I'm not sitting here saying that Bryce Young is spiraling. Again, we can't read into the narratives that of these plays that are happening. Again, it's the same thing I said last night. Just because Bryce Young throws a pick in training camp, you can't just be like, whoa, here we go. Here we go again. You can't read into it. That's why I'm bringing this up too. You can't read into the bad. Right? You cannot read into the bad of Bryce Young. You can't sit there and say he's spiraling or anything because, again, this is training camp. If Bryce Young was out here, in the same thing with dropping dimes like this, I'm not reading into it. These guys aren't even in pads. Okay? But I am going to say things like this. If he's going to lead this offense, he's got to start stacking good days and cutting out some of these mental lapses. Because right now it's no more excuses. But at the same time, I'm loving what I'm hearing for the defense. It's like you hear a bad thing about Bryce, but then you're also like, well, damn, our defense is making plays because how bad we were last year defensively, right? But I do think Bryce has got to start stacking some good days. I know it's just the first 2 days of camp, so not reading into it too much. He definitely's got to cut off some of those mental lapses, but again, we have to remember this is his 3rd year. We cannot have any more excuses. the learning curve should be leveling off by now. But shout out to our defense and shout out to Evero cooking it up because, again, Princely is out there making plays. Damani Richardson's out there making plays. Jaycee Horn's out there locking down. And we don't even have two of our starters on the defensive line, as in Bobby Brown and, of course, Derek Brown out there. So the defense is bringing some juice, man. And, it's about time because we're very short on depth in the corner room, very short on depth in the safety room, short on depth in the linebacker room, very short on depth. And hopefully, as we continue to go throughout this training camp, those types of things that hopefully we can get some waiver wire guys or something and change that, right? Chef's coming through and saying, should have signed Pratt when we had the chance. Goes to the Raiders for a song, reactive instead of proactive. Exactly, Chef. Same thing since 95, always one injury away from disaster. I mean, it's the same thing with Julian Blackmon, man. They signed him for a 1-year, $5.5 million, the Saints did. I think Pratt was about the same thing. I think it was like 6.6 or something like that. Again, I'm not going to get into too much more of it, Chef. Chef, you know how I feel. I commented back on you. I still have my three questions with the whole injury issues with this team. And again, I've already said my piece and my thoughts, but I'm never going to get those questions answered. Never going to get those questions answered, but it is what it is. The only thing now is that we got to hope, Chef, that that Dan Morgan in that front office gets more proactive at waiver wire start as guys get cut, stuff like that, right? That's what we got to hope. We got to hope that they're more proactive than just reactive. There's a total difference between the two. Steve-O comes in and says, I think there's you think there is a world where Coker doesn't make the team? No, I don't think there's a world that Coker makes the team. Or that no, I don't think there's a world that he doesn't make the team. He's making this team. Okay. He's making this team. For sure. Because right now, he could be the successor for Adam Thielen, in my opinion. I mean, again, I've said it time and time again. Don't sleep on Jalen Coker. I mean, we're talking about a guy that came out last year undrafted. In some people's eyes, he outplayed the guy that they took in the first round, as in Xavier Legette. But Coker, again, I think could be Thielen's successor. I truly believe that. I think he's been an undrafted gem. I think he showed enough last season to suggest he belongs. His route running, his body control, his hands, again, I have all stood out to me. And that's even in the limited snaps that we saw last year. And he's not flashy, ladies and gentlemen. He's not. But he's effective, and more importantly, he's cheap for what we've got him for. Guys, we've got 28 votes on the poll question tonight and only 18 likes. 10 of you guys are slacking. Make sure we get those likes up, ladies and gentlemen. I would greatly appreciate it. Okay? So, and you also got to think about it this way. With Thielen aging out, Legette's still developing. Coker offers immediate depth, long-term, and he's got long-term upside. He's a lock for me in this wide receiver room. And he's probably going to be one of the steals of this entire group, in my opinion. So yeah, he's definitely making this team. Josiah says maybe that's just a Bryce mistake when we have a expect more batted balls, etc. Not too worried. Well, I mean, Bryce really hasn't dealt with batted balls. The biggest issue with Bryce has been, forcing throws in coverage, making overthrowing the deep ball. Because I've never seen a deep ball that he's underthrown. I've seen a lot of deep balls where he's overthrown. I've seen more overthrows than underthrows. So again, everybody says he doesn't have the arm strength, but if you go watch the tape, he has had more overthrows than underthrows. So the batted balls isn't an issue for Bryce. It really hasn't been that. It's been when the pressure comes in, him stepping up and making the throws, moving himself around in the pocket. But we saw that improvement the last 8 weeks of the season. He was stepping into his throws, or he would fake to run and then step up in the pocket, right? We saw that last year. So the batted balls isn't the issue. It's the decision making, the timing, right? That has been Bryce's biggest. I would say that's those are his two bugaboos. I would say. I really think Coker's a special player. Absolutely. My question is if Renfrow a lock? I like to think he is. So you're asking if Renfrow is a lock. I'll say this. I think he's one of the guys likely to make it. How about that? I wouldn't say he's a lock. I think he's likely to make it. Because this one, I think the Renfrow story is tough, man. Because he's a guy who was a Pro Bowler not long ago, but hasn't looked like himself since 2021, right? And then, of course, he missed all of 2024 because of the ulcerative colitis, and now he's 28. He's trying to claw his way back into the league that moves really fast and moves on really fast from players. So, again, his route running, his hands, I still think are top tier from what we're seeing, especially when he's healthy. I think it's a feel-good comeback story. So it is possible. But he's going to have to outplay a younger Jimmy Horn. He's going to have to outplay a more versatile David Moore and stay healthy the entire time. I think the odds aren't great for him, but I don't think they're zero either. I'll say that. Coker is silky smooth. Yeah. Bryce Young needs to complete passes more than 5 yards per completion. Well, I think his first year had to do with the route running. Again, you want to hear a crazy stat that I still remember to this day? And it has to do with Bryce Young's rookie year. It has to do with Jonathan Mingo. You know how many times Jonathan Mingo got open when he was the first read? You know how many times that how you want to know the percent of that was? And I still remember this stat. It's 25%. Him and DJ Chark were in the top 10 of worst separators in 2023 from a route running standpoint. Worst separators of getting open. Mingo, DJ Chark. DJ Chark was 10th. Jonathan Mingo was 2nd in the league. So just take that for instance. But yeah, I don't disagree, Jeremy. I think that he definitely needs to get better at the intermediate passes for sure. Yeah, he needs to complete more, passes with more than 5 yards. Absolutely. And I think he's got the guys to do that now. I think, Thielen's your safety blanket for those 3rd and 6, 3rd and 7 yards. I kind of feel the same way Renfrow can be. And I think that's a confidence issue we saw last year, Jeremy. I don't disagree with you, but I think the last 8 weeks, we definitely saw him let the ball loose more, right? We break down that last game. We break down the game film of last 8 weeks, man, the highlights and everything. You see him be more loosely with that ball. Yeah, and he definitely has the wide receivers to do that now. I totally agree with you, Jeremy. Appreciate you joining, by the way. Thank you for coming through. Vina Thor is looking like a lock to me. You don't pass a guy like this. His question is if he still has it, not if he can play. Very true, Josiah. Very true. So, yeah, I mean, Renfro definitely for me. I mean, Renfro definitely for me is a guy likely to make it. I'm not going to say he's a lock. I think he's more of a likely to make it. All right. But yeah, Josiah, I mean, to your point though about Bryce, I'll say this too. On top of that, you know, we're going into year 3 of this Bryce Young experiment, and I don't disagree with your comments. Like it's a make or break time for sure. You know, he had a disastrous, start to his career. Then he had a disastrous start to last season, then getting benched in week 5. Then he clawed his way back. And you got to give him credit where credit's due, though, Jeremy, is that he looked like a different quarterback in those final 10 games. He showed improvement in pocket presence, faster reads, a better feel under pressure. He wasn't perfect, but he was functional. And he finally started showing flashes of being that guy that we wanted him to be at when we drafted him number 1 overall. And this front office and this coaching staff is completely committed to this young guy for now. And I say that for now. The leash is longer than it was last year. I'll say that, but it's not infinite. Right? So ownership is definitely watching. Dave Canales is watching as well, who is also the quarterback developer that we brought in here to be. So Young needs to show he's the guy, not just a guy. And it starts in this training camp. So, again, I agree with you, Jeremy. Shout out to Ocho Cinco. Mad love to this wide receiver room. Yeah, I saw that the other day. Or I saw that today. I actually tweeted it out back at him. Chad Ocho Cinco is giving a lot of love to the Carolina Panthers lately, man. This guy says, I can't even name 3 wide receivers on the Panthers. The fuck are you talking about? And I think he was commenting on, can we talk about the possibility of the Panthers trio of receivers being the best in the league consistent week for week for Bryce Young? Yeah. So, and then he comes back and says, do your fucking homework. We got T-Mac, Xavier Legette, Jalen Coker, Jimmy Horn, and Adam Thielen. So yeah, Ocho Cinco's out here giving a lot of Carolina Panthers love lately, and you gotta love it. You gotta love it, Kendall. In reference to free agents Pratt and Blackman, we got to consider both ends of the business deal. Why did they want to come here? What did Carolina tell him? Maybe we did offer. It takes 2 for sure, T. Cole. It's just crazy to me, though, T. Cole. It's crazy to me though that the Saints were able to sign these guys cheaper than their market value. I'm pretty sure Julian Blackman's market value is around $20-something million. And the Saints got him for a 1-year, 5.5. And another thing is, let me drop Chad Johnson a follow real quick. Sorry. Shout out to Chad Johnson if he's somehow catches the Robstar Report one of these days. One of my favorite receivers of all time, by the way. Did they want to come here? That's a good point. Who knows? Right? I mean, those are great questions to ask. Yeah. There's not enough reports out there for me to give you an answer. There's not enough information out there to give you an answer for sure. And obviously we don't know what they told him. So, but it's just crazy to me how cheap the Raiders signed Pratt and the Saints signed Blackman. Where based off our cap space, we could afford both of them for how much they both got signed. So that's what it's more frustrating to me, because I'm just like, what was the big, what was the big deal? How could you not afford this? 5.5 million, and I think Pratt was only like 6 something. I think his was a 2-year, 12 million, or was it only a 1 year? Let's see. So Jermaine Pratt's contract. No. You want to know what Jermaine Pratt's contract was with the Las Vegas Raiders? This is fucking insane. Jermaine Pratt signed a 1-year, $4.2 million contract with the Las Vegas Raiders, including a $1.5 million signing bonus and $3.75 guaranteed. And the guy's only 29 years old. You can't tell me that he couldn't earn that? That we couldn't have paid this, we couldn't have gone out and paid this guy? Oh, that's true. I mean, I didn't see those reports that came out for that, Kendall. I did not know that. But still, this is one guy that we definitely for sure should have signed for the price. But I still would have taken Blackman for his price. I would have taken Blackman for that price, even though he was dealing with multiple injuries. I mean, 1 year, 5.5. I mean, you get that guy back to health, or even, you get him back to 80% of what he was, man. And you got a nice duo back there with Blackman and Mo Rig. That's all I'm saying. I mean, I know he's dealing with it, but 5.5 million ain't going to kill you on a 1-year deal. Now, again, they could still take a chance on Marcus Williams. He's not that expensive either. And they brought him in, so we'll see. Jeremy comes and says Renfrow has to be wide receiver 4 or 5 this year. Take over Adam Thielen the next year. We'll see. Jeremy, I think that's going to be more of Coker taking over, honestly. Jeremy, I really think that Coker is going to be his successor. I really do. I think he fits the slot nicely because of his body control and hands. We've seen what he can do over the middle and on the outside. So I think you can really play him anywhere, but having him in the slot, I don't think would hurt. Or you could put Leggett in the slot with that type of speed. I mean, I think Jimmy Horn Jr., though, too. See, that's the thing. It's like you could say, well, Jimmy Horn Jr. could be the successor with his speed. A guy who can take a top off of the defense. I just don't think Renfrow is going to – he might be fighting for the 4 or 5 spot, but to me, he's going to be fighting for the 5th or 6th, in my opinion, if anything. Now, if he proves me wrong and he gets up to wide receiver 4, okay, fine. I mean, I can see a world where he's wide receiver 5. But if he proves me wrong, gets up to wide receiver 4, great. I just don't think he's a lock. I think he's a guy, like I said, I think he's likely to make it. Don't get me wrong, still should have signed both at this point. Where's the benefit in cutting clowning, right? But again, it does bring up my question too. It's just like I said the other day, Kendall. It does bring up my 3 questions that I asked a bunch of people in my post the other day, in my post the other day. I had 3 questions up. Again, what was their plan? It still blows my mind. Like, I mean, I'm going to let it go at some point, right? But what was the plan? Why it's the same thing for Tommy Tremble. It's the same thing for Josey Jewell. It's the same thing for Shaq Thompson, right? Why wasn't Jewell's condition monitored more closely? Why wasn't Tommy Tremble's condition monitored more closely? Why did we wait to the last minute to do all of these things? Why did we wait to the last minute to get Tommy Tremble's back surgery? Why did we wait to the last minute to cut ties with a linebacker to go ahead and get his health situated? Right? Why did we wait to the last minute is what I don't understand. And you knew that he was recovering from these symptoms. You knew that Shaq Thompson was coming back from that Achilles tear. And again, you abandoned both of them and you did not have a backup plan. You did not have a backup plan. And you can't tell me that Shaq Thompson's backup plan was just Christian Rozeboom, who's been a fringe starter at best, and consider him a valuable insurance policy who's only had 11 starts. Granted, he had 135 tackles, but I'm not saying that Josey Jewell I'm not saying Rozeboom is better than Josey Jewell, and I'm not saying Josey Jewell is better than Rozeboom. But you didn't have a backup plan for neither Shaq Thompson, and you didn't have a backup plan for neither for Josey Jewell. Again, it's just a failure to be proactive by this front office. I'm not saying that the whole offseason was because of this now is shit. It wasn't. It's not shit. But again, it does raise a lot of concerns that Josey Jewell's symptoms didn't just arise suddenly. And the Panthers had months to prepare for this. You release him, and just before training camp. Again, there is a difference of a front office being reactive instead of managing it rather than proactive on this roster building. It's not the end all. It's not at the end of the world for me. It's not the end of the saying that this offseason now is a shit mess, but it does raise some concerns for me from a medical standpoint, from a front office standpoint, and they should have monitored those guys better. Tremble, Shaq, and Josey Jewell, and they should have had a contingency plan for each and every one of those guys. Plain and simple. And he didn't. I call him Damani Demon. That's what I call him, T. Cole. Damani Demon. I don't disagree with getting the young guys on the field, but you still should have had a backup plan. Especially when we look at that defense last year, man, T. Cole, you can't tell me that you shouldn't have a contingency plan for any of these roster depths. Especially on defensively after you had historically one of the worst defenses in NFL history. I asked about the XL hand injury as well. He dropped quite a few passes. Well, he took it. It seems like he took care of it. Right? He took care of that immediately. Which as he should. Jeremy's right. We do it we drop the ball every year on injuries. Every year. Panthers gal, what's good? Appreciate you joining. Still like your anime picture. It's pretty cool. Tre'von has way more upside. Just need the read and a recognition part. Yeah, I mean he's just got to get better. I don't even know if I would consider Trevor Wallace a starter right now. He has to be now, but I still think he definitely has a lot of learning to do. I said that the other day. I think Trevor Wallace, don't get me wrong, there's so much upside. He's still raw, but Is he a starter right now? No. Considerably on any other team, he wouldn't be a starter. At least I don't think so. Not saying that he can't develop in one. Again, I think Wallace has all the athletic traits. You got the speed, the range, explosiveness, but then again, it's the consistency part. And again, he's going to get every opportunity now to obviously develop and get better. You know, like you said, with the read and recognition part, especially in the pass coverage, but he's got to be more. He's got to be smarter when he's on the field, especially on reading offenses, right? So the team doctor needs to be fired, gave them bad medical advice. See, the thing is, Jeremy, we have a whole new medical staff. So I can't agree with you there. We got a whole new medical staff, basically. So I don't know, man. I'm just hoping now at this point, ladies and gentlemen, that will go through the waiver wire, right? Hopefully maybe find some guys. Maybe we get some more cuts. I mean, Christian Wilkins just got cut. I mean, he just got cut. So who knows? There could be some other guys out there that get cut. I mean, but at this point, you know, there's the defense is still bringing the juice, as you can see. You know, Damani Richardson having a pick yesterday, Princely getting to the quarterback, Pat Jones making a play on the ball. This defense needs to continue to cook. I don't care if Bryce Young's throwing picks out there or not. This defense needs to continue to cook. So those are my biggest takeaways. We definitely we talked about everything for this evening in this episode of the Robstar Report. Again, I appreciate everyone joining the live stream. Again, make sure you pound that like button, hit that subscribe button. I did have a live goal tonight. If we do get 100 likes, I'll do a major giveaway. I'm going to start doing this throughout all season long. All season long, we reach a certain goal every single time I'm live. I will do a major giveaway, whether it's a jersey, whether it's tickets, whether it's a hat, which we still need to do the hat giveaway for the 6,000. I have not forgot about that. Whether it's a video game, when the new Madden comes out, I'm definitely going to be doing a Madden giveaway. I'm ready. We can also do a college football 26 giveaway if you guys are interested in that as well. So every live from now on here, and you're hearing it here first, I'm going to have a live goal every single night. And you know where that is. If we get that, whatever it says in there, it doesn't have to be the 20 super chats. What it says in there, it's going to say, get this stream to 100 likes, right? And I'll do a major giveaway, just like it was tonight. So all I care about is your likes and subscribes. That's it. I don't need your super chats. I don't need your donations. Donations are welcome. I'm not going to deny them, but yeah, for now on, we're going to do major giveaways all season long. If we can reach, 100 likes, whatever the case may be. All right. So again, make sure you like, subscribe, click that post notifications bell so you don't miss out on any new content. Of course, become a member today of the Robstar Report. You can become a member for 99 cents. So also, if you want to follow me on X, Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, all my links are right there. And again, if you are feeling generous, you can donate to the channel this way, but I don't expect it from you guys. So no problem, Underground West. Peace out, Eric. Other than that, guys, love you guys. As always, have fun, be safe, and y'all know what to do. I will see you on the other side. Keep pounding. I'm out. Peace.